welcome to the Bold Outdoors YouTube channel. We find ourselves on a chilly Sunday morning. This is Trail 513, aka Moody Hill, which also ties into Crystal Mountain. And as we get to the end of the premature end, I should say, of Crystal Mountain, we're gonna maybe have a little discussion there at that gate. This is probably the next to last weekend this trail will be open. It usually closes around December 1st. And the Forest Service has been closing trails rather early, actually. So my very first video with these tires, the Maxxis Rampage, that was on Killpacker. That's officially closed now, which is really early. That's almost always a holdout for December 1st. But they closed it early this year because there's so much snow, I would assume. I don't know. And that brings up the point that we've gotten a lot of snow early this year. Last time I was at Storm Mountain, I was shocked at how much snow was over there. And then, of course, you know, being at Killpacker, Bald Mountain area there, how much snow they had that early. So being here at Moody, I'm not exactly sure what to expect. Being that this is Sunday, of course, there were some individuals here yesterday, Saturday. That's a relatively popular trail around here. It's the closest trail to Fort Collins. Woohoo! It's slick. The tires did well right there, though. We'll see how they do on the way down. They've had some fresh snow over here. Interesting, there's a lot of tracks right before that little ledge. There aren't as many tracks here now. So they must have, a lot of people must have turned around there. And these are definitely like Jeep or truck tracks. I don't see any side-by-side tread patterns. Freshly fallen tree. It's situations like that why it's good to bring a chainsaw, because you never know when those trees will just topple over and block the trail. And like I said, this is why you carry a chainsaw. Trees come in and block shit. I actually don't show too much of that, either chainsawing or winching trees out of the way, but it's somewhat common. It's more common when the trail's first open, so you know, around June 15th or so you have a lot of blocked trails, or later in the season during fall you get either an early snowstorm or heavy winds and they'll topple trees. Alright, now we're at the T. So that's Crystal Mountain, like basically the trailhead down that way. We just came off of Moody Hill that way. This is the beginning of Crystal Mountain. And this is the one of a big source of controversy. What the situation is, so this is an off-road trail that goes all the way to the top of Crystal Mountain, hence its name. Now, the issue is starting in about 2013, but definitely starting in 2015 when the gate went up. They closed off access to the top of Crystal Mountain. Now, everyone was like, and when I say everyone, I say like the off-road community, whatever, we're confused about what's going on because there's always been access to Crystal Mountain. The state of Colorado is like, this is a state land trust. We've always had the state land trust. There's never been public access. That's a source of debate there. And, you know, the public is not allowed on this public land. Only those that lease the land are allowed legal access to it. Now, this land is 1 mile, 1 square mile, and literally just cuts everything off. So the trail just stops at the gate. You know, basically there's a mile of the trail, and then it opens up again. The Forest Service is like, yeah, those trails are open. And it's like, great, how do I get there? Well, I don't know. And that is the source of controversy. We have trails open and available to us, but we can no longer get there legally. So, a lot of people have found ways around the gate, especially dirt bikers. It's pretty easy for them just to go between the trees to get to the top of Crystal Mountain. There's a back way, which we call it Donner Trail or Donner Pass. It's Trail 100. And now Donner, I mean, it goes quite a ways up to the mountains here, but it crosses over the Buckhorn Road. Buckhorn Road is the major road to get to all these different trails. County road. And it crosses over Buckhorn, and then it comes up and snakes its way through the backside of the real Crystal Mountain. And it comes onto the state trust land. And so those dirt bikers, you know, now I haven't seen the signs, I haven't seen pictures, but they describe that, you know, now there's signs saying that no trespassing, this is state public land trust, no public access, you're on camera. So they might have game cameras set up down there. There's a sign here, it's actually been there since 2013. I'm not sure if they actually have game cameras over here. But recently, they put up some weird fencing on public land. And as much as I know that the Forest Service isn't happy about this situation and they want nothing to do with the situation, I don't think they're the ones that put the fencing up. I think it was whoever is leasing the state land trust, which is Husqvarna Automotive in Fort Collins, last I knew. So I believe they are the ones that put the gate up, or not the gate, the fencing. They're the ones that did put the gate up. Don't get me wrong on that one. But I think they put this fencing up, and which is kind of a bummer because that would be the easiest way to bypass the state land trust. And I'll show you. It's almost exactly 1 mile from that point to catch up with the old Crystal Mountain Trail. And I'll show you on the GPS here as we come to a stop. So in front of us there is the gate, and you notice they have some new signs, and this is the fencing that I am talking about. So they felled some trees back there to prevent access, and then they went ahead and constructed this fencing. And like I'm saying, I don't believe the Forest Service are the ones that put this up. That's actually a legit hiking trail right there. So that in reality and theoretically, they just blocked a legit hiking trail. So they're preventing access to hiking, as well as to anyone trying to bypass it. Now, when I say bypass, you can only go back, I don't know, 1/8 of a mile or so. Not very far, back into there. And it's always been that way, so it's nothing new. Hopefully this comes up on the helmet camera. But as you see, we're right there. Crystal Mountain's right there, so that's where the trail where we would like to pick up is right here and go up to the top of Crystal Mountain. About right here, about where that 3 is on trail 344A, about where that 3 is there's a plane crash. It's an old DC airliner, a passenger airplane crashed there, and a lot of the parts and engines and everything are still there. And you see this blocked out white area here, that square? That's the part that's a land trust, and we're no longer allowed access. So you see the grayed out area here, that's the Crystal Mountain Trail, trail 344, is that grayed out area. So the Forest Service says this is open and this is open, but you have no way to access it legally. This dotted line here, that's the Donner Trail that I was talking about. So the Donner Trail comes into this land trust right here and picks up trail 344. So those individuals on dirt bikes, this is a dirt bike only trail, those individuals come up to right here, and I'm curious if they're being met with a gate. I've heard about signs, I haven't heard anything about a gate yet. So those individuals are encountering that there. And then of course here we have the big green gate that's welded horribly, by the way, but that's just something I noticed. It's my job. So that's the situation. You got this square here, that's state land trust, no public access. However, we do have access to there, and we do have access to there, but we can't get there. Very interesting, isn't it? So let me put the parking brake on. So here's that gate. Someone was on the other side of the gate and turned around. I would say it was an ATV by the width of the tracks. Or maybe a 50-inch razor. So someone was over there and came up here. But that's our situation. There's a sign, no trespassing, land lease for private use. Colorado law prohibits use of this property without written authorization from the State Land Board. Ridiculous. Of course, yeah, the information here, everyone just crumples it up and usually pees on it. So tell me what you think. What do you think about this situation? It sucks. And I don't use that term loosely. This really does suck. Taking away our lands and our trails. Why? And they really got gung-ho after the September 2013 floods about closing trails. But again, the Forest Service has nothing to do with this. This is all state of Colorado. Interesting. Makes me wonder, your prohibited access to open trails. How do we get there? It's almost like either you just torch the gate or go ahead and forge a new trail that way. And that's something we might have to involve a lawyer to figure out if we can bypass it that way. And like I said, it's due west. It's exactly straight dead line to catch up with the rest of 344 Crystal Mountain. What I should do is like hike it and scout it and see what exactly it looks like. Maybe even document it and then show the Forest Service what we're up against. And speak to a lawyer. We do have some off-road groups here that fight for rights, but they don't seem to really care too much about northern Colorado. They all seem, you know, more about southern and kind of like the central area. Buena Vista and Aspen, you know, down there. A little bit Grand Junction, not much, but hardly anything up here. So I don't know if we need to form a group, a bigger off-road group, and kind of be the squeaky wheel and eventually get the grease. But it's a bummer. It's a beautiful view from the top of Crystal Mountain. It almost rivals Storm Mountain on the view of the Front Range. Well, there you have it, man. Sucks. So I figured I'd throw up this quick little video, kind of explain our situation here in Colorado. Again, this is Crystal Mountain Trail 344. That's a huge bummer that they took that away from us. That there is the 2018 Polaris RZR XP Turbo. What a badass machine, let me tell you. It won't be long before I'll do a 4,000 mile review, and I'll go into a lot more in-depth details and features than I did in the 3,000 mile update. That was kind of late. I was well past 3,000 miles when I made that video. But the big thing now, man, is these tires. Awesome. The tires are fantastic. Grip like hell, and they're lightweight. They look awesome. Speaking of maintenance, let me go ahead and I'm starting to ramble, but I'll go ahead and speaking of maintenance, I need to reclock my springs. I think hitting the jumps and everything so much, like everything's kind of twisted. So I need to reclock them. They're starting to rub kind of funny. So I need to reclock those. I ordered actually new sway bar bushings and a new bracket or housing. That'll probably be in next week. It's starting to clunk quite a bit back there. As for the front, I don't think I really need to do anything. I might go ahead and do the upper bushings on the front A-arm there. I already have the bushings, I just never got around to doing it, and I don't think they really need it. But say like February, March time period, I'll probably go ahead and do it. And I'll probably re-examine the bottom ones as well, whether or not they actually need it. Because I did those at about 2,000 miles on the bottom. So they'll have roughly another 2,000 miles on them by the time I do those, and then the uppers will have, you know, 4,000 something miles on them when I do those. Ball joints seem to be hanging in there, so I won't touch those. So ball joints are fine, axles are fine, bushings are relatively good. I just probably do it as preventative maintenance. Need to reclock the springs. Oh, I still need to redo the front wheel bearing. I haven't done that yet. That's not a big deal. I got the new radius rods on the rear, so those are fine. Wheel bearings are fine in the rear. Axles are fine. Everything else, you know, maintenance-wise is fine. The rear diff transmission shouldn't need to be done. Front diff was done here recently. I'll of course do that again on the next oil change, but that'll be quite a while before I do the engine. I have quite a few hours to go. Coolant's fine. What a great machine, let me tell you. And actually, as I was thinking to myself of cruising the trails there, going between the trees, and like, would I really go to a 72 inch? And I don't think I would. I think it'd be way too tight, especially to carry any kind of speed through those trees on a 72 inch machine. Because as I sit right now, I'm at 69 inches, so wide enough as it is. Pretty cool. I'll probably keep that wrap for another year or so. So I don't know, probably winter 2020, 2021, maybe I'll change up the wrap. I have no intentions on trading in or getting rid of this machine. Even though the Pro XP is a fantastic looking machine, they finally updated it. I'm probably not gonna, probably won't upgrade, so to speak. This one's doing so well. All right, enough rambling. Get back on the trails. So that's our situation. So that's the State Land Trust. We do not have access. Whatever happened here. And I can't get to the trail over there. It's a bummer. But we'll go rip the trail a little bit more. Early morning ride before I have to do some adult things later today. So there you have it. Again, this is Josh with Bullet Outdoors. If you like what I do, please subscribe, like this video, give it a thumbs up, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.